This is Command Dude's first podcast. We're gonna be talking about Modern Horizons 2, what cards we like, what cards we think are cool, maybe just something we want to talk about from the set. We all picked 2 to 3 cards, and we're gonna start it off. Anybody want to start? I can.
Wish we
Sure.
had written down a list.
We'll have Zach start since this is the AFC podcast, Ep1.
AFZ podcast part 1. Okay, which one do I want to start with?
I actually feel like we should have rearranged our tiles in Discord to be where we actually are and when we play games.
Is that
It's fine.
optional?
I don't
It
even know.
is optional. I can move it right now,
Yeah, just move
but
it.
okay, there we go. So yeah, Chatterfang Squirrel General is what I want to talk about. It's Golgari, so you know I love it. Um, it's 3 mana, so it's a gamer. It's got Forest Walk. If
I
one or
got a
more
Forest Walk.
tokens, oh, it's pretty good. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. Instead tripped me up the last time I read it, but basically you double up on all your tokens with squirrels. And then you can pay a black and sacrifice X squirrels, and target creature gets plus X minus X till the end of turn. So he can
Oh, that's a
start.
minus.
Yeah, so he can
Do you feel
start.
yourself using that black ability?
I mean, yeah, you can kill
Rarely.
indestructible things like Matt plays his
Yeah.
Perforos deck or Nylea. Pop, pop, pop. Let's just start shooting squirrels left and right.
Yeah, I
Um,
just, I mean, I don't know what the massive squirrel potential could be. I mean, there's a lot of support here for like a
yeah,
couple
so
tokens here, a couple tokens there.
a lot of the cards in this set kind of got me hyped around building it. I'll go over like 3 of them real quick. Sylvan Anthems, 2 green enchantment. Green creatures get +1/+1, so you're kind of buffing your squirrel army. And then it says whenever a green creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. So you basically every time you're making all these squirrel tokens, you get a bunch of scries, and you get to whatever kind of combo piece you want or whatever. And I think all the other cards like this say like whenever it like you play a creature card or something, you scry. So this one is pretty powerful, I think, in terms of token synergy that are green. So I saw that
Easy
card
to
and I
draft.
thought, yeah, that card was pretty sick. Another one, let me find it real quick. That synergizes with this thing was it's not the best synergy, but there's a card.
This is in Modern Horizons 2,
This
right?
is in Modern Horizons 2. Yeah, there's a lot of things in the set that kind of go along with this theme.
It
I
better
would
be the
hope
squirrel
so.
catapult, dude.
The Squirrel Catapult
It's
is
the best
pretty
card.
good.
The chitter spitter? Come on.
Chitter Spitter is my favorite named
Isn't that
card.
one of your 3
It is
What
not
does it
one of my
do?
two.
Does it just
spoilers?
shoot peanuts or walnuts or whatever?
The beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a token. If you do, put an acorn counter on it. Squirrels get +1/+1 for each acorn counter on it, and then you can pay a green and tap it to make a squirrel. Cranks out squirrels.
That's a good card.
It's
Also
a good
buffed
card.
your army of squirrels, which is OP.
Yeah.
2/2s is already a big thing.
There is a so there's a couple cards in the set. This guy, Tireless Provisioner, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, you make a food or treasure token. That gives you squirrels for landfall, which is pretty good.
Is that
Um,
also that card that like whenever you make a food or a treasure or you
exactly.
make one of
There's
each,
an
so it'd be
artifact.
another 3 squirrels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get 3 squirrels for the price of one. This
I mean, plus your food and your treasure and your,
Yeah.
you know,
This
can't forget
card,
about those.
Fey Offering to an Agreeant enchantment, beginning at each end step. If you cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell, create a clue token, a food token, and a treasure token. So I feel like the more that goes on in the game, the more tokens you'll get. And then you basically just pair it up with your like Golgari aristocrat stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Matt was saying with Pitiless Plunderer and like a sack outlet, you basically have infinite squirrels, infinite.
Well, your commander's a sack outlet on its own, and you can sacrifice as many as you want for one. You don't even have to pay X.
That is also true.
So I
So
guess you could, if you're trying to go that route, for 1 mana,
you just
you could
merc,
just sack all of
and then you
them.
merc something that you couldn't get through or something or whatever.
The actual effect almost doesn't even matter.
Yep. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
make a bunch of
But
squirrels.
yeah, then I don't know, you Avengers Zendikar, classic.
Vengeance Endercard can get insane in the deck.
Make a bunch of plants
Hermit.
and also
Oh,
make
wait,
a
is
bunch
it
of
Hermit
squirrels.
Druid? No, it's not Hermit Druid. The one that makes like 4 squirrels when it comes in.
Yeah, but that card's like $100.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's like a super old card. It
You know,
might be a
some
reprint
of
of
this,
it, but I
There was
last
a reprint of it.
and then
I
some of
saw
the
it was
stuff
a
from the
hundo.
recent
What's it called?
pre-con, like Hornet Queen,
Hornet Coin would be
bunch of
good.
bunch of Flying Death Touch, and then also squirrels.
There's also a lot of just like cheap enchantment ones that do it. Like I think it's like Dread Horde Invasion or whatever, Invasion of the Dread Horde that amasses every turn. You make a thing. I like all the ones that kind of make you things each turn. I think those are pretty good.
It's
You got doubling season on the way.
I don't want to buy a doubling season, but it would be good
What's
in the
the other
deck.
one? Primal, whatever.
Something
I think it's called.
growth. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, token deck,
token deck.
token cards.
Hey, you
Yeah,
gotta
you
be
can
committed.
I know you don't. I know you don't love them.
can run Dictate of Erebos. You can run Grave Pact, all those things too.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that it's Golgari.
Butcher and
Like that?
Malakir. But yeah, I think it's going to be super strong. Definitely, if it's optimized, I think it could, like, I don't know, fight off any deck that isn't like a CEDH combo deck. But yep, that
Nice.
is Chatterfang, Squirrel General.
I had a question about Chatterfang. And now, in the deck, I didn't look at the deck you made
Yep.
earlier. Was
Just a
it?
first run.
You might have said it already, but was it squirrel based?
He's trying to back me into a corner.
I'm just curious.
I think it's
With
token
Sapperling.
based. Like I built it to build as many tokens to double up with Chatterfang because Chatterfang is essentially doubling season.
So this is
You
not.
really don't. You really
So
want
it is not
cards.
a squirrel tribal deck, but you run all the squirrel cards because they
You
need
don't need to
tokens.
run all the
Squirrels.
squirrel cards. So
You
some of them
don't.
aren't as good.
It's probably better to just not run
Matt,
the
when does
chatter
Zach run
cannon.
tribals? Zach doesn't run tribal decks.
What is
He
it?
already has
Chitter
tribal.
Spitter?
Deck as a tribal deck.
If we're gonna be realistic, you're not gonna want to run Chitter Spitter. You just run more token things. But with a name like Chitter Spitter, you gotta run Chitter Spitter. So it is what it is.
Just curious.
Yeah, but definitely not a squirrel
Mhm.
heavy deck outside of the commander. So yeah,
Is Totsky going in?
Toski is a good pick. I should put that in there.
I like Toski.
Nope, bad
Good
card.
card.
I want to build a Toski
Bad
deck.
card.
I
Bad
think
card
he's a
for that
great
deck.
card.
Toski?
4 mana, 1/1, do nothing.
It can block.
No, 4 mana.
For a
Get
mana,
an
you survive a
invincible
master
squirrel
of
that wins the
cruelty.
game.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Nah, man, he wins the game every time.
All right.
Alrighty, that is Chatterfang, whatever its name is. All right,
It's four.
who's up
It's
next?
4 mana. It's too low CMC for Matt.
I could do one.
Alrighty.
One of the ones I picked is Zabaz, the Glimmer Wasp. Now I don't know if I like him as a commander. I mean he's cool, but what I like about this card is it got me thinking about turning Osgear into a modular Osgear deck with all the new support for modular and some of the old stuff. I don't know, it just seems really, really interesting. And then there's a lot of like newish cards in red and white that can like sacrifice a lot of artifact sacrifice in here. So I guess I should say it's an artifact
There we go.
insect. For one, it's a 0/0 with modular and modular 1. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, that many +1/+1/+1s are put on it instead. So it just adds 1 more counter. Now that refers to the death trigger, not the enter the battlefield trigger of
Both
modular, but the
triggers,
actual
right?
death trigger.
Yeah.
Well,
Modular says it enters the battlefield with this, and when it dies, you move it.
yeah.
Okay.
So it would only trigger on the death trigger, but with the amount of Osgear is able to sack artifacts, but there's some in here. Let me see if I can pull some up. Freya's Apprentice. When it enters the battlefield, you make a 1/1 Thopter artifact creature with flying, and then you can tap it and sacrifice an artifact. So that gives you the ability to get, modular happening. And then you get some value off of that as well. You can exile, do like a little exile the top card and play it until your next turn, and then you can give a buff. But there's some other ones in there that you can just sack your artifacts out. You're almost kind of like getting these into play to get counters, sacrificing them, and moving those counters around to build up kind of a big creature or something, and then swing it out. It's kind of how I see it happening.
Yeah.
And then obviously Osgear can kind of, once they're in the grave, you can just kind of do it all over again. Times 2. So that was one that I thought was really cool. I don't know if I'd necessarily build a Zabaz deck, but it got kind of the wheels spinning, so that's why it's one of my favorite picks for this set.
I want to say I think that modular there's like a specific modular creature, something Ravager that used to be like a really strong card in like 60s card constructed, and I think it was like a very aggressive style deck, which makes me think like with Zabaz being like 1 mana 1/1 that can gain like flying, some form of evasion, that like this
Yeah.
thing could be like a nutso red white Voltron deck that you
It's the
use
idea, yeah.
that you because
Get
you're
a
like
bunch into play,
yep.
then kind of just get rid of them and move all the counters to your actual commander,
Yep.
which would be Zabaz. So
Yep. And
that
then
is definitely a way to do it.
you have the reliable like extra +1/+1. You have like the I don't know what it is, the hardened scales for basically red white modular
Yeah, for
effects.
sure.
But then you also have
sure.
like that new card Nettle Cyst, which gives a equipped creature +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment you control. And that's a 3 mana equipment to equip cost. So like you could just get that thing huge. Just
See, I'm going on
another way you could
advanced
take it.
Spreadful. Man, there's not even a whole lot of old modular stuff.
Oh, it was like 5 or 10 or something maybe.
The mana costs are pretty high.
I think
Yeah.
there's like 8
but,
in this set.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them in this set, and they're all pretty
Yeah.
good. I think for like if you're going with that, they all kind of work together. Good, like
Yeah, it's just I had never heard of modular before, and I thought that was kind of cool, especially in like an Osgear thing where you're, sacrificing your artifacts, you're bringing them back
Yep.
for more modular stuff. It seems like kind of a cool value engine and a different way to build Osgear besides giant stompy artifacts.
I agree, and a lot of them have like the newer ones at least have a pretty low mana
Yeah.
cost compared to like the other artifacts that you're targeting in Osgear. So it definitely gives you a lot
Yeah.
more
You know,
early
is it
value.
good? Is it the best? Who knows? We play Commander.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was one for me.
Zabaz. All right.
Anyone else want to share for the class?
Next up,
I do.
Matt.
I
Matt's
brought a
next.
card.
Shut up, Matt.
Oh, Casey, please. Please go ahead. It is good. It's all you.
Oh, thanks, Matt. God,
Yeah,
such
I
an
was
easy
told,
name.
I was told to shut
I
up.
was joking.
Anyways, the card that I picked was Sarah's Emissary. She is
Aw.
a 7 mana value. Get rid of CMC, guys. Got to get on the new hype train.
Get rid of it.
Flying. As it enters the battlefield, choose a card type. You and creatures you control have protection from the chosen card type, and she is a 7/7. So 7 mana is a lot to pay, but I love Kalia, so I'm throwing this in Kalia. You get her
Oh,
out
that's
like
white.
turn 4. You choose protection from creatures or whatever you're worried about. And if you choose protection from creatures, you get protection as well. So you can just keep full swinging with Kalia and all your monsters to try to beat people down and not have to worry about a crackback hitting you.
I don't
So
quite like that.
Kind of like a Teferi's protection, basically. It's constant miss on a creature. It's fucked up.
so I'm just excited about that card for Kalia because I feel like the last couple sets I've been waiting for that angel or dragon or something that
Right.
really does
That
it
deck
for
really
me.
needs a buff. Really needs a buff. So
Hey, I haven't used it in a while. I'm keeping
I know.
Matt, would
Avacyn and her
you?
goons behind the closed door.
Would you run this in the Angel deck, Matt?
Yeah, I think
Costly.
it would definitely make a good ad. It feels a little bad that it doesn't, I don't know, gain me any life because that's the way I took my angel deck was more life gain, but it is like part reanimator, and I think that's a good target.
Oh yeah, it is per reanimator.
So
Great. The only thing better would be if they unbanned the
What do
angel
you think's the strongest thing to choose on Sarah's Emissary?
creature.
creatures.
I mean,
It
I feel like I
depends.
would pick creatures, but if like you're just really worried about a board wipe, well, I guess the problem is like you would have to choose instant or sorcery, right?
Yeah, they are separate.
And even if
So it's
it was a
kinda-
board wipe, you'd only say sorcery if it was
Oh,
like
right.
your
Yeah.
first and 3 like mono red decks.
Yeah, I feel like it
I don't know.
depends
I
on
mean,
the
I guess creature
situation.
would get you. I think generally creature might get you the most bang for your
Yeah, I feel like it depends.
buck.
Am I against
At
like
least
a
in our meta.
yeah?
I
We
think
also-
in Kalia instance is what I would pick because Kalia already gives you that crazy tempo swing in the beginning that's like it's not being blocked. It's something huge is coming down. You don't really need to worry about creatures getting in your way because you're already way past the tempo to where like instance would be what messes you up.
Yeah, I think it depends on what
That
you're
makes
going
sense.
against and what the board state is. Now,
But
if
if
I'm
you're
Kalia
throwing
versus a Kranko, yeah, I'm gonna choose creatures because I want a full swing. Like, if the other deck's tempo is right there with you, then
You don't need to worry about
Say,
that. You're just gonna fly over me anyways.
I'll just play the angel. Activated abilities can't be activated.
Oh no. It shuts down the whole deck. It's like at that point with that deck, I'm just not even making 1/1s. I'm just not playing the game. Anyways.
it'd be cool also to get. I saw a few others. I think it's called like replicating rights or something like that. You could make 5 copies of this because it's not legendary, and then you can have like protection from basically everything.
It's cool.
Pretty cool idea with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Isn't that a blue card?
Yeah, so you'd have to run white blue, which no one wants to do, but
Yeah, it's also
Um
white, which goes in Brina, which is the only commander I play nowadays, guys. So
there was a
There's
comment.
probably
There
isn't
was a
anything else
comment on
that's
the last
working.
video that said more Brina.
There's no way.
No,
let's
it said it
go.
was.
That's crazy.
Let's
Oh,
see it. Bring it on. We
yeah,
need more.
it was brutal to read it.
I mean, Brina's new and is good, so I guess
so annoying.
people want to see it play.
Yeah. All right,
It's
Matt,
good.
it's your turn. No one can stop you now.
Just skip his turn.
We
Matt's
could.
gonna pick the
We
blow up land card.
Yes, I do enjoy my casual land destruction. Um, one of the cards that I chose was the Esper Sentinel.
Mm.
The 1 mana, 1 white,
Okay.
artifact creature, human soldier. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player plays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. He's a 1.
That was on my list of cards to pick too, because I feel like you kind of feel like you're like, oh, it's got to get big, but I feel like even as a 1-drop,
Yeah, no, it does
and
not.
then
Big.
and then like even just as a 1, like people might not pay that 1 if they
I mean,
can't,
risk
So
study
it's
is
just
out
Have you
there.
seen
Yeah,
Ristic Study?
The amount of
yeah.
times I've
Yeah.
won from Mystic Study and you guys not paying for it, like no one pays. Once one person
Yeah.
doesn't pay, everyone says value's gone already.
I guess
And
Just let it go.
if you're in a deck that's maybe doing modular or maybe doing something where you can grow it a little bit, it's like, well, that just becomes
Nuts.
Better.
It just
out
becomes
of
nuts.
yeah, it's like, okay, well then I'm definitely not paying for that. But even then, it's like if people are paying for it, just like Ristic Study, it's like, well, now you're taxing at least the first spell.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you guys think that it's so OP that this is basically like a staple card? Do you think like white is just gonna run this regardless, like just because it's that good?
I want
I
to put
mean,
it in angels. I want to put it in humans.
I just feel like it's almost free draw power for a 1-drop. Like I think
yeah,
if you're playing white, I mean, we'll see how expensive this card gets after release. I think
I
you would
feel
throwing
like
it
it's
in there.
certainly, especially at rare too, but I feel like it's certainly a staple draw card for white. It's not like white has a whole lot of good options for card draw. Now, of course, it's got to be first non-creature spell each turn. So if someone's only casting creatures, it doesn't do anything. But
Which I
It's
think like in our play group, I don't think we have the most like spell slinger decks to where it
Yeah.
might not get the most value, I guess, in the world.
I guess we'll have to
But
see because
when you're
we're
in
almost
like
always
yeah, but then when you're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
playing like CEDH or something like that, where they're just like casting like non-creature spells every single turn basically to win, I think that card's gonna be like easy draw 3 every single time it goes around the table.
I just
Like
think even if you whiff a couple turns, like it's a 1 mana investment. Like you're not like blowing your
yeah,
whole
It
turn. You're
it is
yeah,
still a 1-drop 1/1,
yep.
Yeah.
and for depending on decks, it's a human, which is good.
And
I think only
artifact.
one of us run a Humans Matters deck.
An
It's
artifact.
also an artifact.
Huge.
So it's like it has value to it too. You know, 1-drop 1/1 with an effect is kind of it's not a problem.
The Rick,
You
the Rick
know?
Grimes
Eh,
human that we needed. This is
yeah,
it.
this
It
is
was
it.
It's a human
beautiful.
and a soldier, Matt. Look at that.
Beautiful. It's both.
Crazy.
That's
And
the
he's
most part.
But
got
it's also an artifact somehow.
and he's got some sweet flavor text. The more Esper changes, the more he refuses to.
Oh my
He's such a
What does that
badass.
even mean?
He's
I
a man
don't
on a
know.
mission. He doesn't
He's
want to be blue.
he's
He
a
doesn't want
rebel.
to be blue.
Oh no, this sword arm. I don't want it. Draw a card.
Yeah, I think that card's nuts for white. I think
In
it's
my
absolutely crazy.
opinion, this is the best card in the set. There's no way any card beats this card.
Best card in the set.
Yeah, I'm
You
claiming
know,
it as the best card in the set.
Matt saying that, I realized I'm like, well, I don't think I felt like I picked what I consider the best cards in the set.
I read
I
this
think
card. I'm like,
that's-
there's no card that is like gets more value than this card. It's
In Commander.
crazy.
Oh yeah, if we're
In
going by
Commander,
commander, yeah,
Commander.
In
I think
Commander.
that is gonna
I
be
don't play
the
modern
staple.
or anything. I'm only thinking about Commander.
Yeah, it's
Mm,
gotta be. There's nothing more powerful.
Than
It,
card
like,
more
draw.
It's good.
Dragon Ball?
I absolutely think this is good. I'm interested to see how expensive it becomes.
The
Or I'm
pre-order
afraid to
price is
see how expensive it becomes.
$26.
26?
Yeah,
The
pre-order. price.
pre-order price for the squirrel is 64.
Well, pre-order prices are horseshit.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, y'all are buying boxes. You're probably gonna pull one.
I'm hoping to pull
Maybe.
20.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Matt's got a
Trying-
lot of white decks. He's got to put one in each, so he's got to
I'm
start.
still wanting the rares from like 3
All right,
sets
all right.
ago.
But
the
do we
fucking
think this card is
Hull Breacher.
better? I'll bring it up later. There's another card that I think someone might have picked this
Okay.
card. Do we think this card is better than Damn?
Is it back to your turn, Zach? Are we changing cards?
Damn.
No, Damn is not one of my
damn,
cards. This is just question. You said it's the most
I
powerful
think
card.
damn.
I think if Dam was an instant, Dam would be absolutely insane. But the fact that Dam is a sorcery and it has
It's
to be in
Demo's the
black
Wrath
white.
of God. A little bit more
You're-
flexible.
It's
Yeah.
Wrath
Like,
of God with plus something, and you're
It's
running Wrath of God in
flexible.
every single
It's
white
also
deck.
Orzhov.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this can't be Damn
Not
can't be
as
run. I
flexible.
guess we're talking about Casey's pick for Damn.
I think
Um,
Dam is a great card, but I think the Esper thing
card,
is
great
stronger.
card.
You think
because
it's stronger?
As opposed
Esper's
to
It's a
Wrath
one
of
mana
God,
white drop. Like,
Damn can't be run in a mono white deck.
Yeah.
True.
You know, for those of you running mono white. But I feel like I would say that it is better than Damn because Damn is kind of like something that we've seen. Of course, I guess you could say the same about this pick too. You know, it's kind of like Rhystic Study, I guess. But I feel like this is a more impactful card, the Esper Sentinel, because this is really something that white needs, mono white specifically. But it's like, you know, they're giving that power buff to white that white players have always wanted. So I feel like it's possibly a more impactful card, but it's hard to say if it's better.
I just think
Yeah.
Dam's cool because you can slot it in replace of like a Damnation or a Wrath of God. And it gives
I
you
want
more
to get a Damn.
versatility. Like,
I would
Karlov wants a
slot
Damn.
it. I would slot it in for something else. I don't know.
I mean, you could
like
run
if you
'em-
have a for some reason you run like a sorcery kill spell or something, I would put that in for it. You have the flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Damnation. Well, I can't run Damn in my rogue deck, but like,
There
you
it
know,
is.
Damnation versus Damn. I feel like I'd pick Damn
Oh yeah, damn.
if I can run it.
it
You
just
know?
gives you more options, which is great. I mean, that's why people run the flip lands, is because you just have extra tools to
Card
play with.
flexibility is
Yep.
super, super important.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about Pringles.
Like it's
Yeah.
going into Nev and Angels.
Oh great, Nev. That's what I
I
wanted
don't
to
think
hear.
I picked it. There was one in here that I didn't think was a great card, but I really liked how flexible it was. Oh, I think it was the Timeless Dragon. It's like it's like 5 mana for a 5/5 dragon with flying. But it has plane cycling for 2. So I was like, okay, cool. So for 2, cycle it out and grab a planes early game. And then you can pay 4 and exile it from your grave and create a token that's a copy of it. That's a
Yeah.
4/4 black zombie. So I was like, I don't know if this is like that great of a card. Like it's not amazing, but I was like, it's just kind of cool, flexible value. It's like early game, you can utilize it to not ramp, but get planes in your hand. And then later you can bring it back as a body. So I thought it was cool. Speaking of flexibility.
Yeah.
Not one of my picks though.
Yep. All right. Are we moving past the Esper Sentinel? Anyone want to say anything else?
I think I'm glad we all came to the consensus. Best card in the set.
I'm sure that's what we all said. Play back the
I
tape.
I think it's one of the most powerful, but I'm not convinced it's the most
I think it
powerful.
is a staple card for sure in any white deck at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's
It's
gonna
not
be.
Golgari, so Zach doesn't like it.
If you
Zach
look at
doesn't
any
feel
deck list with
Yeah.
white, that card's probably gonna be in it 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, probably 10 times out of 10. It'd be 10 out of 10 if it was a reasonable price, but it's probably not going to be.
Yeah.
But all right. Moving on. My pick 2. We're
I gotta come up with
going.
a new pick. Damn, got taken. God damn it.
I mean, we didn't get taken. We just talked about it. I think it was good. You want to talk about it more?
No, you took my
Anything
pick,
else you want
Zach.
to
I'm
say?
focusing you next game.
Dude,
It's too late.
Take a pick. I just brought it up.
That's the reason he's focusing you next game.
That's it. Always something.
Specifically that reason.
So my number 2, sticking on the Golgari theme, we're gonna be talking about Grist, the Hunger Tide. 1, a black and a green. Planeswalker, as long as Grist, the Hunger Tide, isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. Comes in with
Golgari.
Golgari. Comes in with 3 loyalty. It's got a +1. You create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then mill a card if it's an insect. If an insect is milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat. So you keep on going if you got insects, but you ain't gonna have insects. That's just ridiculous.
Right, you have squirrels.
You're gonna have squirrels. -2, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Pretty good. And -5, which I'm the most stoked about. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So when I see effects like that, I instantly think of my boy, my Lord and Savior, Jared Golgari Lichlord, and Lord of Extinction.
It all
Basically
comes down
every
to it.
every
Every time.
every time. I think this guy is nuts in that deck. But I think this is the commander that is the best package for a Jared deck. I think Jared by
Okay.
itself is like too streamlined. People will be expecting it. They'll want to like X out of your graveyard right away. Whereas this guy gives you like the impression that you're kind of going like insects or you're going some sacrifice, kill things. It's not necessarily as straightforward. And if you're running like a Golgari self mill reanimator package, being able to get like for example, I'm thinking you have Jared in your hand or something, you play him, whatever, you use a reanimate spell to bring back what's its name? Vorinclex, the doubles counters, and like something else, doesn't matter. Lord of Extinction, so you can pop off with Jared as like a backup plan. Then you play your Grist, you're in the ult range, you can hit everybody for a ton of damage, and you have other backup plans of winning through Jared and other means of sacrifice. So I think this guy is, in my opinion, my most hyped card. Because artwork's cool, Planeswalker in the command zone's cool.
Artwork's dope.
Artwork's
so
dope.
good.
Yep.
It's like exactly what I would expect. The whole Golgari thing is definitely that. you know?
Bugman.
Bugman.
Bugman. The name's Bugman.
I like that Zach likes
Bug-
this card as an
Bug
undercover
Bugman.
way to get to Jared and
Yeah,
the
I
Lord of
mean that's
Extinction.
that's
It's
all I
literally a
think.
cover up.
It's literally just a cover up to get to those.
That's definitely a valid point though. You know,
Yeah.
when you have a commander that just speaks your entire deck strategy on it, you're like, well, I know what I need to stop them from doing.
Yep.
And you're right. This is a little less obvious unless, we know, unless your playgroup
Oh, I
knows.
mean I play Golgari. You
But
guys know that it's gonna have
yeah. But,
Jared in
that
there.
is a valid point. If you often play in different playgroups, maybe find a commander that makes it a little less obvious, or find a commander that supports your deck but doesn't make the deck,
Oh.
which is something I do for none of my decks. But
The
it's a cool
secret
idea.
commander.
Yeah, it's the way to
Yeah.
play. The way to play. Any of you guys have anything to say about Grist? Do you think it's cool?
I
It's
think it's-
I think
Jared.
his art is dope. I mean, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, well, I'm never gonna do anything with it, but that's Zach's card all the way. That was my opinion of it. It's cool. I like it. The
Alrighty.
whole when it isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect. Is weird to me.
It is weird.
It's interesting,
I
but
think that's crazy.
I just thought, does this make
Um,
Blex relevant? And then that was it. That was my thought process. Because
oh yeah, Blex.
all I want is Blex to be good.
Does he buff insects?
I don't. Yeah, I think so.
What does Blex
Yeah.
do?
I don't
Can you
remember.
find
I
out?
know the Lord for a bunch of weird things. I looked him up yesterday because I was like, does he buff squirrels? Doesn't buff squirrels.
It's not a squirrel's not a pest, dude.
All right,
Squirrels are
Blex.
pests.
Maybe in real
Blex,
world.
vexing pest, 2 and a green. Other pests, bats, insects, snakes, and spiders give +1/+1. And when he dies, you gain 4 life. On the back side, search for Blex. Look the top 5 cards of your library. Put any number of them in your hand, and the rest into your graveyard.
That card's
Lose
pretty
3
good.
life for each card. Put in your hand this way.
Yeah, I just want to play the
That part's
creature
cool.
side because it's so gross looking. The artwork, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's disgustingly beautiful. I thought the pests from the recent set
So cute.
were adorable.
Yep.
Oh,
They
the
were
little
fantastic.
grubs. Yeah, they're great.
Oh god.
They're like the thing that the Teen Titans took care of, or whatever. The big old grub. Alrighty.
Was that Silky?
Silky? Oh
Silky?
god, it's so gross.
Silky's amazing. They made it even more gross in Teen Titans Go,
I can't believe they brought it back.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
which
yeah.
we all know is clearly the best version of Teen Titans.
It's growing on me.
I'm just
No.
looking to start a riot. I think it's hilarious, but it's not Teen Titans,
I
which
enjoy
is
it.
probably why people hate it.
All right, Tyler. What's your next card?
All right. What did I have? All right. Let's do the common card I picked here.
Common.
It's called I picked a common because I really like it. It's a 2 mana. It's called Lose Focus, and it's an instant. It's an instant with replicate, and it says
What?
counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. So replicate, it has replicate for one blue, and when you cast this spell, copy it for each time you paid its replicate cost. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it's a 2 mana counter spell. Neat. But what I think is really cool about this is, I've been looking at building a Magecraft or Spellslinger deck where you cast or copy stuff, and all I read on this card is pay 2 to get it on the board, and then pay as much blue as you want to copy it that many times.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is cool. You get, do you want to pay 7 mana to maybe counter something and then get 5 Magecraft triggers? Sounds pretty good to me. Or if you're running Veyran or something, 10 Magecraft triggers.
And then
So
the,
it's just
the
something
biggest
to
Veyran in the world.
Yeah, it's just something to spin the wheels on your Magecraft value engine that you have set up. Otherwise, it's a 2 mana counterspell. So I think as a common, it's really, really, really good for that type of deck.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good.
So I mean, I just read it. I'm like, oh, cool, that's neat. But then I was like, oh, you copy it for 1 blue. I'm just like, just seems
Also
like
with
you just sink
that
mana into it.
Magecraft guy, that's like you draw cards for each time you cast or copy. You're netting a whole bunch of value off of
Or you
that.
have the dwarf that makes a treasure. You got 2 or 3
Yep.
Magecraft cards on the board, and it doesn't even matter. Like you want to choose new targets for the copy, or you don't even want to counter a spell. You just target itself like multiple times. It doesn't necessarily matter that it counters a spell. It's just like you're copying it.
That it goes on the stack.
So,
Yeah.
exactly. So I thought that was neat. Does copying a spell tie into Storm or no? I don't really
I don't
remember.
think it does.
I don't think it does.
Because you're not casting it, you're just
Yeah.
copying it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Magecraft
But,
introduced the copy half.
I mean, Magecraft already seemed a little broken, especially with Veyran. But
Yup.
this right here is just a super low to the ground card that
I mean,
seems like it
this card
busted
like
out a
could
little
make
bit.
Veyran just like one shot somebody.
Yeah, you're just like, all right, so and maybe you're not even casting it because someone cast a spell you want to negate,
Yep.
Or if someone's, I don't know, it's just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna cast this and grow Veyran by like 20.
I mean, if you had like this and like you like opt, counter your own thing, target a whole bunch of times, team or battle rage,
Yeah.
boom, you one shot someone. Like pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But Veyran
So-
is its own kind of crazy wormhole of.
I still want to build it, although at the same time, it sounds like it might be something that's not fun to play or play against because you'll just be sitting there.
Yeah.
Everyone will just be sitting there. Kind of a solitaire deck while you resolve your 47 triggers on the stack.
A lot of
Yeah.
triggers.
Yeah. Your microphone's covering your beautiful face, Tyler. Okay, there we go.
I love it.
I love it.
It's a very nice
Alright.
microphone.
Are we going in Matt order, or is the council voting skip Matt again?
Okay, we'll skip Matt again. All right.
Yeah, I'm down.
Good
Okay,
vote.
good. So for my next card, I'm actually gonna choose a dragon. It is a red card, 5 mana value. God, I was about to say CMC, guys. Spell
Say it.
costs 1 less
it.
to cast for each land your opponents control that could produce colorless. It is flying, and then when it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. I just like this card because I have a Lathless big red dragon deck where you just want to jam all these giant dragons on the field and just start hitting people. And it's 5 mana, which in that deck is actually pretty cheap for how I'm running it.
It's low to the ground.
And
Super low.
like, if Lathless is out, you get a 5/5 also, and you could blow up someone's land. It just seems like a fun dragon to run. And
I don't know where fun
we got
came
a
out of that card.
we got a world tree abuser in the bottom.
Yeah.
So sometimes you gotta blow up the land. I know that we don't like to do that, but some people's win con is a land. So
True.
None of this
Before-
is that nut.
Before we all got OP decks, I just Field of the Dead would just carry games. I don't know. That'll
Yep.
do it.
Oh, those were the days.
Obsidian Charma. I think
What
it's
was
also
the dragon
pretty
called?
Obsidian Charma.
I mean,
Charmaw.
maybe you cheese him out for cheaper with his first ability, but I mean that's just an added bonus. I just
And I
think,
think
Yeah, it's like you don't plan for that discount, but if it's there, I mean, you're not gonna
yeah,
say
it's
no.
still a 4/4 flyer. You blow up someone's land, you either set them back a bit, like especially when commander, everyone's running dual lands. Like
yeah, most of them
very
will
few
like tap for
basics.
like a colorless, and then they tap for like whatever.
Yeah.
So like that's the
Your
thing.
damage, yeah,
Or like
those ones.
Reliquary Tower. Like
Yeah,
there's
so even if you get him at a
Yeah, your
discount,
utility
like,
lands.
yeah, there's always
somehow
gonna
you-
be
somehow you plan for 3 mana with Lathless out, you get the dragon token and blow up someone's land and have a 4/4 flyer. Like, yeah, seems good.
damn, best case 2 mana blow up a land 4/4 flyer. That's sick.
Yep.
Blow up
Peanuts.
Matt's land. Sorry, Matt's land.
Matt's
Yeah,
land.
yeah.
Yes.
Blow up Matt's land.
Oh,
Matt, we got to slow you from getting to turn 6 before you play your first card. We got to keep you down.
I mean, come on, don't let Matt get that many lands. He's gonna start playing cards.
I'm reading this guy and I'm like, man, why does he destroy a land?
Yeah, right? Like, why is that his thing?
Why is that his thing? That's messed up.
Maybe because he's a Charmaw, he just scorches the land, he destroys
Doesn't-
it.
So does every other dragon.
All right, so in other words, every dragon should destroy lands.
No.
Dude, that
the
they
same
made
one.
an enchantment like that. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield, blow up target land. Oh my god!
Oh.
I
I mean,
might
it
play
would be-
dragons.
Oh, it's so cool.
That really should have been the angle they took with dragons. They destroy lands and they take treasure.
Can imagine this with like some kind of whatever that thing that makes ETBs double, Panharmonicon. You're just blowing up
Oh,
2
yeah, yeah.
lands. I don't know.
That's
That sounds good.
That doesn't sound like a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna run Panharmonicon just so I can blow up 2 lands with
Yeah.
this one dragon.
That's pretty sick.
I mean, it's triggered abilities, right? I forget. I haven't read Panharmonicon in a
You
bit.
run this guy,
Uh,
run that guy with the break the ice card,
I
blow up
have
all
it.
snows.
Right here.
What does
Is
it
it-
say?
There you go.
Battlefield?
Panharmonicon, it's a 4-mana artifact. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time.
That'd be
There
pretty
you
cool in Lathless. You get
Yeah.
double dragon tokens and you
Double
blow up 2 lands.
dragon,
Yeah,
Man. No.
I have it in walls.
that sound good in Lapis.
Spoilers for today's game.
Just blow
Um,
up 2 of Matt's lands.
Yeah.
I'm running
I
all
mean,
basics.
Panharmonicon, is an expensive card that because it's highly abusable in a lot of situations, but it probably does best in, I don't know, artifact decks or something.
Hey,
I have
easy
it in
to
my
use.
Arcadis Walls deck just to draw more cards, but it probably has much better uses.
I mean, drawing cards is good.
I agree.
It's not certainly not bad.
That is the whole reason we said the white 1/1 is the best card in the set.
It's almost like card draw is powerful. Card draw and card search are the best things you can do in a TCG, I feel like.
Yep.
Naruto gave you
Anything to take
all of
away
that.
the probability, make it more
Yep,
reliable.
consistent.
Alrighty, Matt.
Hit us with it. Hit us with the juice.
Alrighty, Matt, it's not your turn yet.
Oh, my bad. I am throwing it back to a card that Tyler had mentioned earlier. I chose Academy Manufacturer. It is an artifact creature, 3 mana.
Yeah.
If you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create one of each. Uh,
Good
I
value.
I think it's crazy how this card creates 3 artifacts. That's nuts. There's
It
So
no
say
way
is.
again,
it's not busted.
clue, food, or what?
Treasure.
Ah, gee, there's so many ways to make
And
treasure.
that's what I'm saying. There's no way it's not good.
It's the #1 card for Squirrel deck, hands down.
For
Sure.
specifically the squirrel deck
Oh,
and only the squirrel deck.
it's insane. So
Like,
That's
that
actually
card
crazy.
also with Gynome or whatever it is, the Master Chef.
you know,
You're
Oh,
gaming.
yeah.
Look at
It,
the value.
Master
dude,
Chef.
there's a new clue thematic in Modern Horizons 2. They got going, and I'm sure there's other clue cards. I don't know all of them.
Oh
Foods.
yeah. The one of the commanders I liked, this
The
I have it
blue-green
right here. It's
one.
a Simic one. Yeah, Lonus Cryptozoologist. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you investigate, which means you make a clue.
Yeah, and you'd make a
And then you
food
can
and a
tap it.
treasure. What?
Yeah, and then you can tap it and sack X clues. Target opponent reveals the top X cards of their library, and you may put a non-land permanent with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield under your control. I'm just like, I'm sure there's some way to just it just sounds like to be fun to just make a bunch of clues and steal your opponent's shit from their
What's crazy
library.
is that guy's like 2 mana, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then on turn 3 you play Academy Manufacturer. It's on the
Yep.
battlefield. You make a clue, and oh wait, you get a food and a treasure with it too. That's crazy.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Clue, food, and treasure are tokens too, right?
Yeah, they're all tokens.
All right. Yeah. Would all the green and Simic token doublers apply? I
It
always
makes
think about
6.
those token doublers for I always think about them for creatures, but never for like treasures and clues and shit.
Double treasure, double food. Like cat oven and
Certainly
this has
seems
to be like an infinite.
Oh, cat oven's
certainly seems
insane,
not
right?
bad. Yeah. I didn't pick a commander for my 3 cards that we were going to talk about, but this is a very interesting commander to me. I feel like this could be a fun thing to play.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Like
I
in an
can't.
Urza deck or something. Or in Tyler's dragon deck.
Or Matt.
Oh, the Prismari command
Yeah.
deck. Yeah.
Yeah. You could also use it
Or
to
Prismari dragon.
to set up for that one green spell that you like, destroy all artifacts, make them centaurs.
Yeah, Rampage of the Clans. Gas.
Yeah.
Gas.
Hey. Best card at MTG.
All these clues were for nothing.
Yeah, a bunch of centaurs. Oh my god. It's
It would be
that's
really, really good in Galazeth Prismari because it's 3 mana rocks, you
It's
know?
nuts.
Yeah.
I like that deck.
I think
Fun.
that's a very powerful card. It might be a little gimmicky because of clue food, but the treasures are
Yeah,
always good and like any deck.
clue and food tokens are, you know, don't you have to pay mana
Yep.
to activate clue and food?
Yeah, 2
Yep.
mana for both.
2 mana for both, and food you gain some life, and
Yeah.
clue you like scry
You
or
draw a
something
card.
or draw. Yeah. So, but cards like the commander I just talked about or Gaiome, where they give you alternative ways to use your food or your clues, or Galazeth Prismari turns them into mana rocks. Those are cool things.
Very cool card.
Oko, you just start swapping stuff.
Oko is Broko, so
Make Oko even more broken. You ramp off of using it. No.
You +2 make a mana rock. Dope.
Oh,
It's
no.
insane. Oko's nuts. God,
Yeah, that's a good synergy.
it's
Oh.
so stupid.
Zach's like, that's a good idea.
Dang. Why isn't Oko Golgari?
I would say he just needs to fit black in there. Jared slides
Yup.
right in.
Yep. Damn. That's a good
Good
plan.
deck.
Alrighty, I'll do my last card. I want to talk about endurance.
Oh,
Yeah,
Endurance?
there's no way that's
endurance.
the pick.
It's
the
the
heck?
pick. It's 3 mana. It's got flash. It's got reach. It's a 3/4. Has evoke. You can exile a green card from your hand to put it into play, and then it sacrifices itself. When it enters the battlefield, up to one target player puts all the cards from their graveyard on the bottom of their library in a random order. This card is everything I've wanted for Golgari decks. Period. Matt's mind is blown right now,
Is
but
it just
for
because
me,
it's instant
Mythic
speed?
too.
it's
It's a mythic
it's
too.
instant speed. It has a sweet alternate art.
Oh, selling point.
And like it's for like I hate running cards like I think it's called like something tireless timepiece or something like that, or I want to say the elixir, 1,000 year elixir. There's cards
Elixir of
that
life.
that one, yeah, that you have to play and then tap and then do whatever you got to do to put then in your graveyard back into your deck just to avoid the Bajuka Bogs, the Author of Shadows, the whatever
Okay.
that's gonna
Okay.
go on. Where this guy, you can play out your hand like normally, you can go for your graveyard plays, and then you have the fail safe of, oh, they're trying to Bajuka Bog me, I can't win if my Jared and Lord of Extinction get exiled. I need to exile a card from my hand, and I can put it back in my deck, and I get another
I can see
shot
that.
at winning. On top of that, you can use it to like when another player is trying to combo with like a Thassa Oracle or something like that, Labman, Jace, you can do it in response and shuffle their deck back in, and then they don't win.
Right. Okay. All right.
And
Yeah.
it also's got reach. It's a 3/4, like flash 3/4 reach. Sorry, Kolia, you're dead. You're dead. I don't know. Why does it have reach? Busted.
Yeah,
'Cause
Nylea doesn't.
it's a tall tree, bro.
Hylia doesn't, and this is just some sticks.
Nylea is a god that has a bow and arrow and
God
it
of
has
the
no
hunt.
reach.
And
He
that's a
uses a
pile of
sword.
sticks.
Yeah.
It's a very tall pile of sticks.
Yeah,
Not
very
if you
tall.
see the alt art. It's like a 5, 6.
It's half the size of a tree. It's not that big.
Yeah. It's just
There's
a
an alt art for
shrubbery.
it?
Yeah, it's just a shrubbery. I posted it in the Discord.
A shrubbery.
Exactly.
Alright, you made an okay case for it. I don't think like playing a card for free is good.
I think it's
Sure.
the best one in Commander. Out of all of those elemental incarnations, I think that one
Not the
is
blue
the
one?
most.
Over Solitude?
No. Yeah, I don't think it's. I think it's the best one,
You're
in my
crazy.
opinion. It's 3 mana, so like because Solitude, you're evoking it. Like you're not casting it for 5 mana. I feel like often. You're using it as
Why
like a
not?
free because it's more of like a
It's got flash.
it's a failsafe. Yeah, it's kind of like how this one is too. You're not gonna be you don't want to cast it for 5 because that just doesn't feel as good. I feel like
Alright, look at Solitude's alternate art. Infinitely better than Endurance.
Solitude's all art's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll agree. with that.
Pretty cool. Best one.
It's that's the best one by far. But
Let me see.
I
I mean,
think in
Endurance just adds
Commander,
it back to your deck,
Okay,
right?
yeah. Solitude's alt art is pretty dope.
I guess that's good that like you at least don't lose it, but I mean it still is back in your deck, and you got to get all that stuff back to your graveyard if you're running a graveyard deck.
yeah. But if you have like your Mesmeric Orb, if you have your ways to generate your mill, it's not bad.
I mean, it
You have
keeps you in the
Demonic
game,
Tutor.
I guess.
Keeps you in
Yeah,
the game. Yeah, you're not just like, well,
dead.
scope.
Yeah.
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 It's like, yeah, I spent this whole game getting all my juice into the grave on purpose, and now it's gone.
So
Dude,
you're
I will
saying
hold Author of Shadows in my hand until I know Zach's ready to go off. every time.
See, so it's a very tricky way of getting around it.
You're
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that wherever Jared goes, Endurance is going with it.
100%.
Every
That's
deck. It's
crazy.
all the
That's
Every
decks.
single.
crazy.
I think it's also just good in general, like to interrupt your opponent's graveyards too. You
Yeah.
send your grave crawler to the graveyard, and you're like, I'm gonna do it. Blap, it's gone. You're like, no.
You start messing around with Gary or something, right?
Yeah, you get a Gary
It's
in
like,
there, and
no
you're trying to bring
thanks.
it back.
Yeah.
Squee the Immortal, put it back in the deck.
Definitely.
Or
Anytime
the
Matt plays
squee.
Squee, it's a problem.
Get rid of Squee.
You know,
Yeah.
Matt, I still haven't put a Squee in my Goblin deck.
Crazy.
I don't know why. I was like, huh. Matt showed me like 2 or 3 Squees or whatever. I'm like, and I was like, those are good cards.
That's a
Never ended
fine
up
card.
putting one in.
Man, we need another squee. Brand new squee.
Solitude's cool too. I'm looking at it right now.
Solitude is
So you just
good.
have to exile a white card from your hand,
Yep.
and you can play it.
It enters the
You
battlefield
can
and then
flash it.
sacrifices itself.
Oh, okay, that's how
That's
Evoke
evoke
works.
is, yeah. But I mean, it is Solitude is a good card. Like I definitely think it's more of like you're evoking that one more than you would Endurance, because Endurance is much lower mana cost. But the evoke is always an upside to these cards, I think. Like sure you're 2-for-1ing yourself probably, but I think the
Free.
benefit, yeah, it's free. And free is good. So
Free is Mo Betta.
yeah, that is my last card.
I think Tyler's next.
Yeah, I can do my last card. So this one's at a rare. It's called Deruthi, or no.
Oh,
Here we go.
sniped.
Douthy? Voidwalker.
Daffy.
Douth.
Daffy.
It is Daffy. It is 2 black for a 3/2 Douthy rogue with shadow. It can't be blocked or blocked by, or it can block or be blocked only by creatures with shadow. So it's a rogue. I have an Anawan deck that I like to play. It's not my best deck. But the effect on this one is if a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it with a void counter on it. Then you can tap him and sacrifice Douthy Voidwalker, choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it, and you can play it this turn without paying its mana cost. So, for 2 mana at 3/2, its stats are great for Anawan. most of the rogue deck is like 1 mana or like 2 mana for a 1/1 unblockable. So this is 2 mana for a 3/2 unblockable. So that's already pretty good. But then, you know, in Anawan, you're milling cards off of your opponent's decks. So every time you mill, it's going into exile with those void counters on it. And then, you know, you build that up a little bit, or you find something you really want to play. You just tap this, sack it. You can play that card from any of the graves you've gotten. So I think it's kind of a slam dunk for Anawan.
I think it's slam dunk in like 100 different other decks too.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
see
totally.
this. I see this
Anawan's
card.
just milling. Anawan's milling a bunch of cards, so I was like, it's getting now. You
Yep.
can bring something back, but yeah,
I see this thing in Turgid, and I'm like, GG. If it's like I get everything now, like I don't
yeah.
need your permanence. I can cast like anything.
this card's
Would
gonna be
this
so
stop
expensive.
Oh
in
yeah,
Turgrid? Would this stop? Because you know, Turgrid is where like if you discard something or sack something and it goes to the graveyard, this
exactly.
exiles it instead. So Turgrid wouldn't be able to bring
Mhm,
it back, right?
that's true. Yeah. So
Because
maybe it's a
Turgrid's
non-bow
like
in Turgrid.
you put something from the graveyard that was taken that way,
Yeah.
and
But I guess then another card I would go with in this set is the Torok Dread Cantor, the guy that like when he's kicked, an opponent discards 2 cards at random. He's a way to just like take down people's hands. Basically, anything that you're like in a wheel deck too would be good. Like Nekusar, you kind of want something like this because then you could just play all their big spells. Um,
yeah. But whenever I see Rogue, I'm like,
there's a lot
What's
of
it do?
busted rogues.
yeah, exactly. But this one, I'm like, oh, It ties right into Anawan's strategy.
Yep.
And it's got good stats.
And it's got shadow.
This thing's
Yeah.
so powerful for 2 mana.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
I
saw
like it.
I saw in constructed play too, when you thought sees somebody with this guy out, then you just get to pick their best card. Like you can get
Yeah.
Eldrazi, and you just like turn 3 Eldrazi, whatever. No biggie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm just over here like I want to swing with it and like mill some cards out and maybe I'll hit something. But yeah, with something like that, it's like I'm just gonna take something that's great from your hand for
Yep.
2 mana. 2 mana in 1 turn, or 3 mana, I guess you gotta cast Thoughtseize. But
what
yeah, totally.
I'm not looking forward to is making a 3rd pile for a separate exile for him.
Void Zone.
Yeah,
Sorry.
some counter bullcrap.
What's the name of the realm that Pegasus brings Yugi into? Yami?
Shadow
Oh
Realm?
boy.
No, like when he makes there's the card of it that's just like the dome around him when they duel or whatever, right?
No idea.
Was
No
it not
idea.
the Shadow Realm?
It might be the Shadow Realm, but I feel like the card in the game is called like Yami.
Oh yeah,
Or
the
Oh, the
something.
darkness,
Yami,
the
field
like
spell.
dark monsters get like
Yeah,
plus
the field
200
spell.
something.
Yeah, that's like
God,
that dark orb.
Yeah, that's Yami. It's dark.
Yeah, yeah. You just use that as your zone marker, Matt.
No.
No.
Yeah, buying a Yami off of TCG would feel bad.
Perfect.
What was it called?
No.
10 out of 10 card.
10 out of 10 card.
Yeah,
This
it doesn't.
one might be
like
more
it.
powerful than the other one.
It depends on the format, but in Commander,
Then which
I
one?
think the Esper still takes it.
I
guess.
think this
Oh, I see.
one. I think this one's better. I think black's a better color. I
You
think
were
it'll be
just
more
desperate to
relevant.
find a card. That was
I am.
controversial.
It is?
Okay, maybe it's better, but I still feel like that white card is more impactful to the game because black's already a good color, white is not already a good color.
I like that. That's a good
I don't know
argument.
if it's more impactful because even if you don't play a card, it's still exiling every card that would go to graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
creatures that
that in
die.
itself is impactful.
I know Casey
Yeah.
loves it.
I don't
I
like
love
it.
the
am.
exile. I love it.
I'm just over here wanting to put it in a rogue tribal deck, and it's so good for so much more.
I just want to get an Eldrazi off it. That sounds sick.
Oh hell yeah, because we all run Eldrazi.
Yeah, we do.
Nope.
I have
Nope.
one Eldrazi. You guys haven't seen it.
I
In
hope
Hans.
to never see it. Unless
I don't
it's
like
out.
the I mean it's in there because it's good anyways, but the whole annihilator thing or anything in Hans, this is a tangent. Anything in Hans that has a when this creature attacks trigger, I kind of tried to get rid of because it doesn't happen
Yep.
until like your next turn. But I do have one Eldrazi with annihilator in it, so
Oh,
don't worry about it.
oh.
Is it the reanimator one?
It's it that betrays.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
What's it like Annihilator
It's
4 and then
Turgrid.
whenever an opponent sacrifices something you take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the Hans deck.
Pretty good.
Somewhere in there.
All right,
Little
next
spooky.
up.
All right. I'll leave for my last card. I was torn between two, but I finally decided to go with Sword of Hearth and Home.
It's a good card.
I love
I
this
wanted to
card.
talk about it.
Because I love the swords. I love their whole. Just I want to run a Voltron deck with all the swords, which is the coolest thing in the world. Gives you protection from green and white, which are two pretty strong or prevalent colors, and I feel like a lot of people's decks. And then it's a blink, and you get to search for a basic land if you deal combat damage. It's crazy. I think that's crazy value if you have any ETB or anything like Raynar, blink.
Yeah, and the card goes in or the land goes into play
Yep.
too.
Goes into play. It's
Yeah.
great value if you connect. And a lot of Voltron decks, you can usually equip stuff for free, so it's basically a 3 mana, and then you can just start hitting people with it.
What was one of our patrons saying? Commander Action was saying this would be really good for Arcadis, or he wants to put it in his Arcadis deck.
Yeah, I
And
was gonna say that
that's
too.
interesting.
I think it's super good in that.
Yep.
I don't know how expensive it'll be or if I'll get one, but you put this on Arcadis. He's got flying,
Yep.
and then you can just like bounce your walls and draw extra cards and ramp, so it's pretty cool.
And that's pretty cool because, for example, I think the first game that we ever played, Tyler, I used Oko to steal Arcades, and and
Oh, I remember.
and it says exile up to one creature you own. So like if it got stolen, you could
Okay.
bounce like your owned card, and then it'll come back under
Yeah.
your control.
So if you took control of Arcadis and you had this on him, and then you wanted to swing Arcadis at someone, I still get that effect, right? Because I control this sword or I own this sword.
I believe
So the
so.
effect happens for me.
I believe that's how it works.
There's a I haven't built it yet, but Arden a couple sets ago, another tangent. You can put equipments on target creature.
Yeah.
I wanted to build an Arden deck where you just suit up all of your opponent's creatures with equipments and gain the value off of it.
Sounds interesting.
That sounds hard.
Yeah,
not to
yeah,
die.
yeah.
It
I
seems
mean,
hard
sure,
not to have them kill
you
you.
can swing at me. Yeah, you can swing at me, but I thought it'd be cool. You just like, here, take all these equipments, and then I'll draw cards and stuff.
Arden's
Yeah.
great. I love Arden. I think
Yeah.
he's one of the best Voltron.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. It's like most people build them up Voltron, which is absolutely great. But I was like, what if it just says put them on target creature? So I'm like,
Is it combat on
what
your
if you
turn
just...
or everyone's turn?
Let me look up
I think
Arden.
it's your
Just-
turn.
If it's
It
just your
has to
turn,
be
it's
your
gonna be really hard.
You have to political it. Say, hey, I'll give you
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff.
Here's a
Yeah, you-
commander's
When
plate. You're
we were
welcome.
gonna do when we did Jankuary, that's almost what I did, but I didn't want to do it because um
we were
it
playing
seems
against
hard
the
to do over.
Scarecrow blow up everything deck.
Well, no, it just seems hard to do over spell table. Arden is a 3 mana, and then let's see, beginning of combat on your turn.
Yeah.
You may attach any number of auras and equipment you control to target permanent or player.
Ooh, because then you could do
Now,
auras that just make it so they can't attack you. And then they just
so
have to attack other things.
when you attach, so when I attach an equipment to a creature on Casey's board, though, I still control that sword, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, that equipment. So it's like, and then I can bounce them off of him. I can move them around each turn. So I thought that was a cool way to build Arden.
It was pretty unique.
Arden, the most popular Modern Horizons 2 card.
I just think this is a great sword to add to the collection of.
It's killer.
The land
Yeah,
comes in
I think it's
untapped.
great.
It's pretty bomb.
Certainly better than some of the other swords.
Did this one get an alternate art? I didn't
It
check.
did.
It's really cool.
I don't
Yeah.
like it. You're out
Oh.
of 10 alternate art.
I gotta
10
buy
out
it.
of 10.
Dog, it's like
10 out
growing
of
next
10.
to some chili peppers or something.
Yeah, dude, you know how
That's
much
so dumb.
you know how much money chili peppers was in pina colada, or not pina colada, pina, whatever it's called. What
Nope.
is it called?
don't know.
The pinata farm sim.
Viva Pinata.
Viva
Oh
Pinata.
my god, we're talking about Viva
Chili
Pinata
peppers
right
are
now.
like 700.
That's
Sword of Hearth and
gas.
Home.
That's gas. You just
Sword of
put the
Hearth and Home's Viva
fertilizer.
Pinata alternate art.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
a big
Have fun,
chili.
Casey, with some Viva Pinata crap.
Does Bandai own Viva Pinata? We might
yeah.
see it in MTG Universes or whatever the fuck it's called.
That'd be tight.
Hell yeah.
Viva Pinata MTG cards? I'd
I'm
play it.
down. Did you guys see? I guess I'll wait. I'll link it when I find it.
All right, it is your turn, Matt. You get the last.
I
one
like
of
that
it.
alt art. I think it's cool. I
Yeah.
think it's like a nice watercolor painting too.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I really like it.
It's nice.
Hit us with the banger, Matt.
Hit us with it.
I was still kind of up in the air with my last one, but I'm wanna. I guess we'll go with this one because it's the one I like. I for my last card chose Chef's Kiss. It's a red instant spell. 2 red and a general. Gain control of target spell that targets only a single permanent or player. Copy it, then reselect targets at random for the spell and the copy. The new targets can't be you or a permanent you control.
Busted.
I think it's a very fun, chaotic card that's just that it turns the gamer in a weird direction.
That's one of my favorite things about red as a color. my red deck isn't necessarily lean into this, but the whole chaos aspect and the whole like impulsive part of red, I think is really cool about red. So
I think this card
definitely.
is like I think what's the black counterspell? Or not counterspell, but redirect spell is Imps of Mischief. Is basically this exact same thing, but this card is you copy it, you get 2 of them, which is
Yeah,
pretty
I think
insane.
it's dope.
Reselect the targets at
Yeah, and it's
random.
like, all right, I use damn, kill your creature. I'm going for lethal, and you're like, lols, I kill your 2 creatures. Sorry, bud.
Luckily at random.
Yeah.
So just to make sure I know what it's doing, you're getting the spell,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then you copy it.
yeah,
Then it says then reselect the targets at random for the spell, which would be the original copy
yeah, and the copy.
and the copy you
And the
make, because it just says the spell.
It says the relix spell for the
And,
spell.
and the copy.
And the copy.
Derp. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's super fun too, and like in Commander when there's like 3 players that it can target, then and then it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like we
How would you
gotta
do
team
that?
up to kill Casey. He's gonna Voltron us down, and he's just like, boom. Sorry, Matt, you just killed Zach's creature. And it's like,
If the
no.
spell's targeting a player, that doesn't seem like it's too hard to do. But what if there's like 5 or more, 6 or 7 creatures on the board? Like, what if there's just like a big board,
D20s,
maybe
baby.
15 creatures across your 3 opponents? Like, how are you gonna manage that in game?
Get rolling. Get your
Yes, you just
D&D
assign a
box and you
number.
just roll it.
My
Yep.
So what if
question,
you have 18 creatures, but you want to roll a d20? What happens then?
you just
Don't
go to
count the last
Google and
2.
do a 18
Yeah, if
generator.
you get 1920, just re-roll.
Oh, yeah. It seems hard to manage. I love the card. It just seems like it might be, depending on the situation, it might be hard to do.
The artwork's pretty sweet too.
Yeah, I thought this art was
Yeah.
crazy.
You don't have MTG Arena that just picks stuff for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the art's great.
I had a
Is
question.
that like a goblin underneath it, like holding it up or something? I can't tell.
Oh, it looks
Maybe.
disgusting, whatever it is.
Or
Got
either that, or it's like
some
an
fuzzy
imp.
mitts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
might be an imp or something.
Oh, it definitely looks like that now you say it.
So let's say I control a couple creatures and the board's empty and somebody tries to PoE me. Path of Exile. Uh then I cast a spell. What happens?
In
Um,
control, reselect the targets
Well,
at
it's the new
random.
targets can't be you or a permanent you control.
Yeah.
So there's no other legal target.
Both copies just fizzle?
Maybe you're not allowed to target it since there won't be legal targets for it.
I would
I don't
say
know.
it either
Don't get to pick
acts.
targets.
I would say it either acts like a counterspell in that aspect, where the original Path of Exile and the copy just fizzle, or you wouldn't be able to do it. It's one of those two.
That's
It would be cool if it kind of acts as a 3-mana counterspell in that situation, but
because I could see that situation coming up where like you
like
were the only
okay,
one with the legal target.
yeah, I feel like in a game of Commander that might not happen that much, but you never know.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
It's also interesting because this card, it says reselect. Well, it says can only gain control of something that targets permanents or players. So you can't
Single
like
permanent or
you
player.
can't do it
Only
on
a
like
single
counter
target.
spells. You can't do it on things like
Right,
that.
right.
Uh,
But Path of Exile
yeah,
Was
or
my
whatever,
example.
yeah, things like
and
that.
Swords to Plowshares.
But it is pretty limited, I guess, compared to maybe the
Only a
imps.
single permanent or player, so it can't do anything that's like deal 3 damage to up to 3 targets.
If you only pick one,
I guess.
but
That's weird.
Yeah, it's very situational in that aspect.
I'm
So I
sure.
guess it'd have to be a meta decision. It's like unless you're really just looking to get rid of Path of Exile.
Yeah, I'm also sure that it'll
Or
come out with like a ruling thing when the cards actually get released, where they like say if there are no legal targets after you gain control of it, it fizzles or
so
something like
yes,
that.
what would be the best
That's my
spells to
guess.
use this on then? Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares. What else is good to
That'd be
use
hilarious.
this against? Tragic Slip.
Anything that targets basically or tries to kill.
Yeah. So what are the best cards that target one single creature or player?
So spells that target things that take control of things.
Okay.
I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
Gain control of.
Target
I don't know,
creature.
The
Beast
threatened effect.
Within, Generous Gift, like
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that you can just save
Lightning
your own.
Just to
Helix.
Yeah.
answer to all the single target removal. It's nice that it says single permanent or player. So it's like someone trying to blow up your land or your artifact or something.
Target spell that
Okay.
targets.
Yeah, anything that targets that blows up one thing, I think.
Targets
wanna
one.
see.
All the single target removal.
There's a lot in the game. So
Did you guys see this was an honorable mention for me, Tragic Fall
Is it like
instead of
tragic
Tragic
slip?
Slip? Yeah, so it's
Oh, I did see that one.
one general and a black. It's an instant. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. And it has Hellbent. That creature gets -13/-13 until end of turn instead if you have no cards in hand. Interesting.
I don't think it's very relevant in Commander.
Not as good as Slip. Not as good as Slip. I feel like Slip it's
Universal.
Slip is going to happen more often. Although, I mean, there is a little bit of a sub theme in this set specifically that's all about self discard. But
I think it'd be
I
good
don't
in
know.
the
I thought it was kinda
draft.
cool.
In the draft, it'd be
Yeah.
good.
That's why it got kind of. It's one of my like honorable mention cards. Like I thought it was pretty cool, but Slip is better.
I had an honorable mention, whatever it is. Honorable mention. I would say Underworld Hermit is so sick. It's Gary, but he makes squirrels. It's so cool.
Get out of here
Boy,
with your
he's
fucking
just
squirrels.
walking, just throwing squirrel food. He's like, "Come to me!" Like the guy is ridiculous. It's
Anybody
so
else have any
funny.
other honorable mentions? I had a couple.
I
Some
have a
soul.
dishonorable mention. I hate Soul Talisman.
You hate it?
Which
It's a
one?
little slow.
As a rare Soul Talisman, it's the Soul Ring, but you have to suspend 3.
I think it's fun.
If
I
I
think
don't draw
suspend
this in
is
my
fun.
opening hand, like or turn 1, I'm sad. Like
So would that be a dishonorable mention for you then?
yeah, like if I have to if I draw that not in my opening hand, like opening hand's great because you at least have time, but like if you draw that later, like
It's like as opposed to Soul Ring, which is great always. It's like this is one is only great in the opening hand. I mean, it's not bad,
Yeah.
right?
So you can reanimate this pretty easy.
I don't think so.
It's not. Yeah,
You can't
it's
reanimate
not
it. But you
bad.
can't exile this with Osgear.
No.
What?
Yeah, because it
It makes
doesn't
2
have
copies.
a
Let me
mana
look at
cost.
Soul
Osgear has
Talisman.
to pay the mana cost of the thing, and it doesn't have one.
I just
That's
Right,
don't
'cause-
like
You
the
can't
card.
pay 0.
Can't pay 0.
I
That's
just don't
crazy.
like
Nope.
it.
I think
Yeah,
it's
the
just a
mana
fun
cost
card.
is on the suspend.
Yeah, I think it's just a fun card. That's all I think.
Yeah, and I kind of noticed that this in Modern Horizons is probably what they were going for. Is they just took all these like classic cards like Tragic Slipped and then like Birds of Paradise. They have the Ornithopter of Paradise,
Sweet card.
or Soul Talisman. They're just like they take classic cards and tweak them a little bit.
Matt wants the Ornithopter for sure.
Oh, it's good.
Yep, that's really
It's
good.
like a 2-mana mana dork, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like your
2
Nylea,
mana. I have it right here. 2 mana artifact creature Thopter with flying. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color.
good.
I mean, sure.
I mean, Birds of Paradise. Is 1 mana, I believe,
You
and it's
run
a
it.
green.
Run it in your Eldrazi colorless deck.
Birds of
Yeah.
Paradise real expensive. That's a
Yep.
staple.
Actually, that's an
Like a
honorable
Bird
mention for me is the Boros guy, the general.
Oh yeah, he's badass.
Hexproof and multicolored. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4. Like
Yeah,
Full on
I think
tribal.
I think that's pretty cool because
Yeah, I think that
he
guy's
only
really
costs
cool.
3 mana. Yeah, he only has 1 toughness, but just casting a multicolored spell and getting a 4/4 is pretty good.
Pretty juice.
Pretty juice.
Pretty unique
I
too.
liked in the world of legendary creatures. I really like that Ragavan Nimble Pilferer, the little monkey pirate.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
I love it,
It seems
man.
pretty
I kind of
strong.
want to. I mean, I want to try out a deck that just like because it's nice. I mean, you just pay that dash cost, and you're never gonna have to pay commander tax.
You do have to pay commander tax.
Oh, do you?
You do.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Never mind. I thought it was gonna act a little bit like
The Ready or
like
whatever
what
his
is
name
it?
is.
No, I'm thinking the
Eureka.
ninja.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Yuriko.
If I said
where
Commander Dash, maybe.
Commander Dash. But I don't know. So that makes it a little bit worse for me. But I thought that was pretty cool because I was just thinking like the whole game, just like 2 mana, and then like get a treasure, and then he bounces back to your hand, and then later 2 mana, you do it again. You know?
From your hand, it's always 2 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he ever dies and goes to command zone, you will have to pay the tax on the
Yeah.
dash and the normal cost.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was thinking is a way to subvert the commander tax is the idea that you don't really want to pay him for his 1 mana cost. You want to just pay that dash and then get in and get your treasure.
I
I
think in
think on
And then
Commander
on your end
turn
step, he bounces to your hand.
I think
right?
Commander
And then you
turn
just
1
do it
you're
again.
playing it.
Yeah,
For
I think
once.
turn 1 you have to play it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would always do that. I think that the effect of getting something, you get to
Getting a
cast
treasure.
it. Yeah, get treasure.
I feel like I wouldn't want to play him turn 1. I'd want to dash him out on turn 2 and get him back to my hand and then do it again
I
the
guess
next
it's the
turn.
same because turn
But
1
I
you just
mean-
play him pass, and then turn 2 you attack. But if you just waited till turn 2,
But
you
if you play
dash
him-
and attack. And
Well,
then
if he's in play, then you have to wait for him to die. Or find a different way.
You just attack
to...
every turn with it until
Yeah,
he
exactly.
dies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
So I really
Yes, I
like
mean-
Dagon too, the Planeswalker. The Shadow
Yeah.
Slayer, 3 mana.
Dagon's busted.
Like the fact that his loyalty counters are based on your lands means that he's pretty relevant like throughout the game. Like even late game, you can either exile a creature that's annoying, or you can just play something from your graveyard, right, or hand.
Veneral welcomes him with open arms.
Yeah, and his
The
alt
Veneral
art's,
can suck it.
his full art's so sick looking.
Yeah, he's really cool looking. Surveil, not the best +1, but you're really not gonna be plussing him, I feel
yeah,
like.
you're not plussing him. Also, I feel like this set did a good job of reprinting good cards with cool arts. Like Imperial Recruiter's full art looks really cool.
Mirror's Wake looks really cool.
Vindicate, instead of the weird like spaceship thing blowing up something, they gave you like a cool like angel.
You don't like the X-Wing?
No, I don't.
I like the X-Wing, but I also love the Angel.
Yeah, Cabal Coffers, I mean, that's,
Yeah. You know what card I almost talked about too was the red card Glimpse of Tomorrow. It's a sorcery. Suspend for
A Hearthstone
suspend
card?
3 for 2. Is it Hearthstone?
No, it just looks exactly like an
Okay.
older Hearthstone card.
So my thought behind this, and I'm just looking at it in the frame of this is probably not that great, but say I had goblins. I had like 18 goblins. Now they technically wouldn't get shuffled into my deck, but would it still count all 18?
Yeah.
So like let's say I've got like 30 goblins, then I just like shuffle all of them into my deck.
Sounds like you
and
already won the
then-
game at 30.
Sounds like you're trolling us.
Yeah, it's a bit of a win more, but that like my frame of reference around it is just like, well, damn, that could be fun.
Yeah.
You're basically trading all your 1/1s for all your actual goblins in the deck. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. It didn't win my 3, but I thought that was kind of an interesting card.
Well, what I love about this set is the enchantment support they gave for the shrine deck, guys. Oh my god. The creature,
Oh,
the
yeah,
enchantment
dude.
creature, the nymph.
Well,
Cast
hold on.
enchantment spell, you gain a life, draw a card, and then the
Nice.
other one where you tap it, you gain X mana for how many enchantments you control.
Yeah, you have that
Yeah.
card that's like you cast a historic or you cast an enchantment, you draw a card. This one draws a card and gains a life.
Oh, I'm
It's
so
busted.
excited.
It's
I'm so
busted.
excited.
If there was a way to, when Glimpse of Tomorrow casts out of that, and you were able to give control of that spell to another opponent, that
Yeah.
would be hilarious. Just take everything they got.
Yeah, the suspend 3 is this, say I were to play it in goblins, you're like, all right, well, we've got 3 turns to make his board a lot smaller.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, I guess that's the way with it anyways. I did kind of think, because there is I don't remember what they're called, but there's a commander that's all about time counters and suspend.
Is it a Joyride? Or a Joyride?
I think it is a Joyride.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's some
You
new
speed-
suspend cards
Speed
here.
up the suspend time?
I
She
think she can
gives
speed it up.
suspend to any card.
Yeah.
And then you just play cards that remove suspend counters.
Let me find her.
There's a pretty bad. I think there's like
Joyra
a 20
of the
suspend creature or something.
Joyra the Gitu. She's a 1 blue and a red. Legendary creature, whatever. Pay 2. Remove a non-land card in your hand from the game. Put 4 time counters on the remove card. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains it. So I guess she doesn't necessarily speed up suspend. She gives everything
Yeah, she
suspend.
gives
But then I
everything suspend.
believe there's some cards out there that help you remove time counters and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I don't run this card. I don't have this commander. But when I saw the new suspend cards, I wondered if they were good for it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Could be. Is there any decks that you guys want to build? Just as a last thing out of this set, or
As far as using a commander from this deck or from this set, I like that Simic clue token. And I like the monkey. Those are probably my two favorites. But I really want to make that Osgear modular deck. So use a lot of cards from this set and put it into Osgear. But
Yeah.
that's what got me going for this set.
How about you, Matt?
I'm looking. Come back to me.
How
I mean,
about
we're
you,
all gonna
Casey?
build Garth, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's not like a commander that really speaks to me from this set. I just think this set has so much great support for decks that I have. Plus, like,
Yeah.
there's just so many staples that they reprinted here that are Cabal Coffers, all the fetch lands. Like,
5 fetch lands.
sorry, 5 fetch lands. You're right, Matt. You're right.
Is that
Mari's
not all of
Wake.
them?
I thought
Like,
there was other 5. Is there
No,
not
I don't.
another 5?
I don't know. I don't
yeah,
look up
like Imperial
expensive cards.
Recruiter. Like,
Imagine.
I feel like there's just so many good cards that are so good for just commander as a whole.
Definitely a good set.
I guess improve, decks that you already
I'm
have.
happy with it. Yeah.
I want to make my Jared deck into a Grist deck, and I want to make
And a squirrel deck.
decks. Yeah. The other Golgari guy is kind of cool,
and
but
Golgari. Maybe Golgari?
it's just what I
Hey
like.
man, people have stuff they like and you play it. It's cool.
It's good.
Uh,
Day one.
I don't think for me there was a commander that stood out that I'd make a deck around.
Yeah. I wish that the Grixis Planeswalker was also commanderable, because I would do that.
Yeah, she's badass.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I
Um,
liked Karth the Lion. He was one I was looking at as a possibility.
Super Friends.
Yep.
Golgari, right?
Yeah.
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 Just
Golgari Super
slide
Friends.
him in a Traxxer or whatever.
I think
Okay,
he
there.
looked
Yeah.
interesting.
Atraxa coming soon. TM.
Yep.
If I am going to make a commander from this set, it might be the Rakdos super big name guy.
The food one?
Yeah, the food one.
Asmo?
Yeah, it might be that.
Target creature deals 6 damage to itself.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good support card and like a on Wrath or Anya or whatever her name is. I think she's good in that deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'd want this as a commander. Just I don't know. It's hard. Anya
was
is a great
listening.
commander.
Yeah, Anya's really good. Cycling goes well with that commander apparently.
Yeah.
But
I think isn't there a new cycling card in this too? I was looking through the cards. I'm like, holy shit!
Wizard
A
cycling,
card for Gavi?
There's
plane
a
cycling,
Timeless Dragon. The plane
No,
too.
there's one in here. Hang on.
wizard cycling one.
No.
They're
Fractured Sanity. It's 3 blue sorcery. Each opponent mills 14 cards. So Casey, Bruvok.
Yeah, that card's
Oh, I'm
But it has
so excited
cycling.
for
It
that.
has cycling for 2, and when you cycle it, each opponent mills 4 cards.
Oh.
I'm just like, yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know. Gavi really just wants cards to cycle, and
then
it's
you
not
want
the
to
best
troll?
in the world, but you can cycle it away for free, get your value engine happening, and everyone mills 4. Seems kind of cool.
Guess so.
Gavi sucks.
What do
Fuck
you guys
Gavi.
feel about the artifact lands? The dual tappers?
cool.
Yay? Nay?
The one is
Badass.
good
I didn't
in
even look at the
Osgear.
lands.
Some of them are
I
good
mean,
in
any
Brea.
artifact. I feel like any artifact land is good in Osgear. No,
Yeah.
Power Depot sounds pretty good in Osgear.
I
There's
didn't even look.
there's a
Okay.
modular land, right?
Yeah, it's the one that you can tap for colorless, but you
Yeah.
can also tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. and it's
Modular land.
It has
Big
macho.
sick. That one's sick. The forest
Bruh.
land, forest Urborg is sick for a squirrel deck. Voltron
Forest.
squirrel.
Forest Walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down on these artifact lands. That's cool. I mean, Osgear can only run Power Depot and Rustvale Bridge, I guess, but
I
But
mean
so
that's
sick.
that's
They're
dope.
indestructible, so you can like get him back. It's all the pieces are coming together for Armageddon Osgir. It's there.
No.
Blow up all lands, play land per
Osgir's
turn.
ability on lands to make artifact lands into more artifact lands is one of my favorite parts about him that you don't necessarily think about, but you're just like, man, you can just pay 0, sack a land, and or pay 0 and make 2 copies of that land from your graveyard. It's pretty good.
Hi. I'm telling you, Osgir's meant to blow up lands.
You say that about every commander.
Damn truth.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do Galazeth Prismari for a dragon episode. You're like, you blowing up lands? Stacks and everything?
Should.
I'm like, no.
I think Sudden Edict could be a really annoying card to play against.
Oh, Turgid loves it. It's awesome.
Oh my god! Like if you're playing Voltron and someone does that, like the fact that you can't respond is just it's
Target
literally
player
state.
Oh
sacrifices.
man,
It's
I'd
bad.
be
except for split
afraid.
second.
Casey would come in my room with like that fucking hooked knife and suck.
What's split second?
You
can't
can't
I don't know what it
respond.
is.
The stacking's
Oh,
there
shit.
basically.
It cuts off the chain. You cannot respond.
It's not even that good except for
They
split
go all
second. Oh,
Mifune Jutsu on you or whatever.
Oh
Didn't
yeah.
that guy do that?
He just
can't
countered
Matt.
everything. I thought.
Matt, you see the new Madness cards?
Yeah.
I
I thought they were cool, and
Don't you have a Madness deck?
that's why I'd probably make the food guy or the breakfast guy.
They gave you finally a good madness. Like I think when you were first playing it, Matt, you're like, "Where's the madness card that like kills something that does something?" They gave it to you.
It does something, right?
something.
They literally did nothing.
Ooh, I like in terms of flavor, Goblin Trap Runner. The one where you have to flip coins and it's like pretending like the goblins are running through a minefield. For each flip you win, create a 1/1 red goblin. I think that one's a great like flavor.
Isn't there one in there too? Geez, I don't remember what it was, but like whenever you win a flip, you make a treasure or
2
more
treasures.
or 2 treasures.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was like in all those new recent like flip decks, Krark decks or whatever. That sounds kind of cool.
Cart the Thumbless.
The guy that flips 5 coins when he attacks is fun.
It looks super fun. All right, I think we're gonna call it so we can play a game.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're the Command Dudes. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the Patreon if you want to help support the dudes. Follow us on Twitter at the Command Dudes, and check us out on Twitch every Saturday around 12 p.m. We stream all our games live. Thanks for watching, everybody. AFZ podcast out.
Can't wait to focus Zach here in 2 minutes, guys. See you there.